Good morning, everyone. It's hard to believe that we're 6 weeks into the semester already, and it seems like we are finally settling into a routine. We've been able to make it this far because of the incredibly hard work and flexibility of our faculty and staff, as well as the commitment to this process and our new way of doing things from our students. None of this has been easy, of course, none of it. But this campus community has come together in ways that I couldn't even imagine. And I'm so proud of what I'm seeing from all of you. Even as we have the largest percentage of in-person classes of any University System of Maryland campus, our positivity rate on COVID tests remains low. In my own class, my chemistry class, I'm encouraging my students to Zoom less and return to the classroom more for a more personal SU learning experience. It's important that my students and all students and employees remember, even when you're off campus, that it's still really important to always wear your mask and to be socially distanced. And don't go to places that can't follow those guidelines. Now, a word about Thanksgiving break. I know that there have been lots of questions about what happens after Thanksgiving break. At this time, we plan to come back and run the semester the same way that we've been going since late August. We will test everyone upon their return from Thanksgiving break. So it's really important to be careful during Thanksgiving. Regarding athletics and club sports, practices for fall and spring teams are now underway, along with club sports that wanted to begin. Practices for winter teams will start on October 14th. These are just practices. There won't be any competitions, at least through the end of January. Visitors are not allowed at practice sites. All of our student athletes and club sport participants will undergo more frequent surveillance testing, and teams are following all appropriate rules and regulations. At this time, intramurals are mostly having online activities like NFL Pick'em. However, Mag's Gym and University Fitness Club and the indoor and outdoor tennis courts are open for recreational use. All locations require a reservation via the Campus Rec website, and they follow health protocols, including, of course, the need for a negative COVID test. There are many other opportunities for students to engage on campus this fall too. The Center for Student Involvement and Leadership sends out regular emails and also has a full calendar on its website. Events open to the public are listed on the SU website. Now, a couple of major university events have gone virtual. Our annual Gull Century bike ride, which raises money for student scholarships, is happening all this week. Cyclists are riding their own 100 miles in their own areas and sharing their progress on social media. SU's Alumni Homecoming also will celebrate a 2020 virtual edition the week of October 19th through 25th. If there are any SU graduates watching, I encourage you to participate remotely. Okay. At this time, I'll take any questions from Eli Maudlin, my Chief of Staff. Eli, what's come in already?
Thanks, Dr. Wight. So the first question that we have is actually regarding submitting questions. The person asked, how can I ask questions to be answered during the live briefing?
Well, the best answer to that is send your questions to stayinformed@salisbury.edu. That way, Eli monitors that email address in real time, and we can get your questions answered while we're on the air today if you send them in very soon. We also try to monitor Facebook as much as possible to see what comes in there, but the best way is stayinformed@salisbury.edu.
Thanks, Dr. Wight. Next question. This person was tested on campus in early September. When do they have to test again?
We are requiring everybody to have an SU COVID test, a negative test, every 30 days in order to maintain their access to campus. So if you haven't already signed up to take a test, do it right now. Go to our testing webpage and sign up for an SU COVID test and get that taken care of right away, because you're up against the 30-day limit.
A couple questions have come in about plans for December graduation. So can you discuss what students and families might see for graduation in December?
Sure. Our commencement planning team has been working really hard to establish the protocols and planning for December graduation. I think we're really close to being able to make an announcement, and so you should hear within about a week or so of what our plans for December graduation is.
Dr. Wight, as you know, the COVID-19 positivity rate has gone down since early September. Mm-hmm. When can people, students, employees on campus expect to see things transitioning back to in-person?
So I mentioned earlier that my class, which is set up as a hybrid class, we're doing both the in-person and the Zoom every class session. And for a variety of reasons, including the positivity rates that happened the week of Labor Day, some of my students, many of my students, sort of migrated from the classroom to Zoom. And now I'm encouraging them to migrate back. So I suspect that this has happened in many classes, and if there has been a transition from the classroom to Zoom, and you're doing it both ways now, I would encourage students and faculty to both think about what we're doing in terms of teaching and learning, and maybe encourage people to spend a little bit more time in the classroom and a little bit less time on Zoom. I think that there is pretty good evidence at this point that no significant transmission of COVID is happening in our classrooms. We're all socially distanced and we're all wearing masks. It's a pretty safe place to be on campus these days. And so for my own class, I'm looking forward to getting back to that more personalized face-to-face instruction.
Can you speak to when decisions will be made about spring semester?
We are talking about spring semester right now, and we are going to have to make some decisions very soon. I think that in broad brushstrokes, spring semester will look like just about any spring semester. But the big question is, what are we going to do about spring break? And we are now working with shared governance groups to get input before we make a final decision on that.
Thanks, Dr. Wight. And again, where should folks go if they have more detailed questions or questions that they didn't get to during the briefing?
Go to our coronavirus website. We've got sections there that are organized to make it easy for you to find the question that you're after. Use the search function if that doesn't work. Or if you still can't get your question answered on the website, send email to stayinformed@salisbury.edu. We will make sure you get an answer to your question.
Thanks, Dr. Wight. That's all the questions that came in today.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Stay socially distanced, stay well masked, and practice good hand hygiene as always. We'll see you back here next week.